Hey everyone, Jimmy here.
Hey, and it's Haley, and today we're building a brand new PC featuring the WD Black SN8100 NVMe SSD with Gen 5 technology powered by SanDisk.
Yeah, as Haley said, so this is our first PCIe Gen 5 drive, and it can go up to 14,900 megabytes per second. So this is 2 times faster than our previous drive, the SN850X. So this drive is going to be great for whether you're gaming or if you're a professional like content creator, maybe you're gaming and streaming, or maybe you're working on 3D renderings, or you're trying to do more AI workloads and things like of that nature. So Gen 5 gets really, really fast. We're really excited to build this PC today and to tell you more about the drive as we do it.
Now, let's go ahead, let's hop on in.
Let's go through all the pieces that we're going to use to build this PC today. So first, let's talk about the processor. So we're going to have an AMD Ryzen 9 9950 X3D CPU. This is a really powerful processor. Really excited to see what kind of performance we can get out of it. Since we're building with an AMD processor, we're going to need to use a DDR5 RAM. So this is GeForce DDR5 RGB RAM. This is 16 gigabytes. So we have 2 sticks of this. So we're going to end up with 32 gigabytes of RAM. As for our motherboard for this processor, we're going to have the MSI Pro X8070 PE with Wi-Fi, right? So this is an X8070 form factor, right? So this is, so for the processor we have to make sure that we're getting the right motherboard, right? So our processor is an AM5 for AMD, so that's how we're going with this one. This is always a big important step when you're building a PC. You want to make sure you're buying the right compatible motherboard for your processor.
We do have a 5080, and it is the Founders Edition of the 5080. Actually, how do I? Oh, okay. And so then you pull this out on this side, and then it looks like a 5080. And so that is the graphics card we are going to be using for this build. This is going to be a Gen 5 build, so we do have that graphics card that will be going into the system.
Next, another important component that you need is your CPU cooler. So for this, we're going to actually go with a liquid cooler by Trix. This is the Panorama 360. Once we get this open, you'll see how cool of a cooler this is.
And then we are going to be using a Fantex 1000-watt power supply. This is a gold-rated power supply, and so that's what we're going to be using for our build.
So for this PC build, we're partnering with CyberPower. They helped us get all the components here. So we're actually using one of their PC cases. So this is the CyberPower Play Ready desktop PC case. And we're excited to get this bad boy open, but just to at least show you the box. Last, but definitely not least, is our brand new WD Black SN8100, right? So as I said already, this is our Gen 5 device. 14,900 megabytes per second. And just to show you guys, or remind you just how small these can be, here's a little tray. And then this is the SSD itself. So you can see M.2 2280, kind of looks like a stick of gum. Again, we are SanDisk now, so just a reminder. Now that we're getting to the point of starting to open up, obviously opening the boxes, now we're trying to get into the actual components. This first step here, Haley already kind of alluded to it. You want to make sure you touch something metal, right? Doesn't matter what it is, right? Just something metal to make sure you don't have any static electricity on you, because you could fry your motherboard, right? And then if you do that, now you got to send it back. They might not even give you a new one. But yeah, this is probably one of your bigger things. So we got a lot of stuff in here. I'm just gonna touch around, make sure I'm grounded, not staticky at all, which I don't think so.
Oh, do we have thermal paste?
The cooler should have thermal paste, whether it's in it or on top of it. Just throw that over there. Start here.
All right, it might be pre-applied thermal paste.
Right, we already have the bracket on here. We'll see if we need to swap this out once we get the cooler open. But here, so we'll want to open this up. Yeah. And this is right where you're gonna put Do you want to put it in?
You can put it on. Yeah. Just make sure you mention the triangle, lining it up.
Yeah. So you see here, there's this little. Oh, let me try to. This little bit this here. There's like a little bit of a like gold triangle in the top left corner here, and as you're looking at your motherboard, there's like also a triangle there on the motherboard to kind of help you realize, okay, this is where it's supposed to go. Plus another helpful thing is there's grooves in the CPU and the motherboard itself. Put this down. Install that, and then this will pop off.
Do you want to install the RAM now?
Yeah,
The RAM's pretty easy to install.
Exactly what I was thinking. I just wanted to. Does this one tell you the position?
Slots 2 and 4, no?
That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that should be. It's always 1 to 4.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Ow. Or not 1 and 3.
You can do it on 1 and 3. I think just most motherboards, like people just always do it on channels 2 and 4. I'm really actually not sure why.
Yeah. Usually your motherboard, like either the well, it looks like the quick guide isn't telling us, but the like full manual will usually say like, hey, you should do
in those slots.
In those slots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, Haley. We can probably go with 2
and 4. Yeah, so then you just want to make sure when you're putting in your RAM, you see this little notch there. You'll want to line it up with the notch there. Oh, then that's how you would know if it's upside down or right side up.
Right, yeah. That's exactly.
You don't want to drop your RAM like I did.
See, I was about to put it in backwards.
And then you have to push it in. It might feel like you're going to break the RAM. You're not going to break the RAM. You do have to apply a little bit of force. You heard that click. And then the little notches on the side, they'll just automatically click in once you know that you have the RAM installed there properly. Nice.
Cool. So now that we have our CPU and our RAM in, as Haley said, probably the best idea that we should do now is to put our SSD in before we start mounting this into the PC itself. So I wanted to call out a few things. You can double check with your with the manual that's included with the motherboard. I haven't had a good look at the box to see if it tells you, but more than likely your fastest M.2 slot is going to be right here, right? So the one that's closest to the processor. So in this case, like this will be your PCIe Gen 5 slot. And then we have 2 other M.2 slots down here. These are going to be Gen 4, right? Or at least one of them will be Gen 4. I highly doubt that all 3 of these are Gen 5. I will double check and I'll let you guys know before we finish this video. But so with that in mind, we want to make sure that because the SN8100 is PCIe Gen 5, we need to put it in this slot. If you put it in one of these other 2 slots, it is not going to get the full performance of the drive. It's only going to maybe go half of what you would expect. So here we should be getting up to 14,900. Hopefully we get a little bit more, a little more juice out of the drive. But if we put it here, we're not going to get anything close to that. We'll maybe get something a little bit over 7,000. And again, that has to do with this is Gen 5, this is Gen 4. So if you put a Gen 5 drive in a Gen 4 slot, it'll still work. You just won't get the full performance. So let's go ahead and take this little heat sink off.
It's easy enough to just like,
Do it real quick.
Now I got it. This is a little button. Okay. So now that we got the heat shield off, we can go ahead, take our SN8100. So you want to kind of take the gold pins here and put it into the motherboard. So you might have heard a click, or when you do this, you should definitely hear a little bit of a click, right? So it is at an angle, but this is how you know that it is in. So in this case, there's like a little latch here. So I'm going to move this over, push the drive down. There we go. And then put the latch back on. So now we're fully installed. The drive is in. So last thing I'll do here is that for this kind of thermal paste to help with any heat that might come or that'll get generated off the drive as you use it, there's a little film here. So we'll take that off. And then we're going to put this back on. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all installed.
Next step is to get this thing inside the case so we can install the power supply, the cooler, and then the case fans.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
CyberPower sent us this case, and this is the case that we are going to be building in today. Oh, if I can get the film off. So this is the Height Y70 case. Shout out CyberPower for sending us this to build in. It's a beautiful case. I actually have a pink version of this case at home that I'm going to be building in soon. So shout out CyberPower, thank you. And so the first thing you're going to want to do with your case is you have to take off this front panel, and that's going to allow us to lay the case flat, and so then we can start building inside of the case itself.
Yep. Remember, don't lose your screws.
No.
If you took one out, that means it's got to go back in. This component will go into the motherboard, so these 16 pins will go into the motherboard, and then that allows us to install the graphics card down here. So that'll actually be, I guess, horizontal this way. So it'll look vertical standing up to us, but it will be, I guess, parallel to the motherboard. You guys will understand.
Once it's built.
Once it's built, you'll have a
That's
better
cool.
understanding. Yeah. There we go. That felt better.
Yeah.
I was like, something did not feel right. So I see we have, yeah. So like this thing will get plugged in right there.
I'm sorry, you could probably start. Well, you don't want to mount it on the corners first.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to point out. So we have different holes here for the screws. So now let's plug this in. Yeah, and kind of similar to the RAM. So this little latch will help you take this. If I can get it out now. It'll help you take it in and out. So when you're installing this, you want to make sure that you have the pins in there and that you're pushing it hard enough for the latch to lock. Right. So
to push pretty hard, I would say.
Yeah. No,
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared, right? You're very unlikely to break anything at this point. I know that we all get a little nervous. We're spending a decent amount of money when we're building a computer, but know that these things are built pretty sturdy. So you can put a little bit of force, or you're going to need to put a little bit of force. Actually, this is my neighbor. He's like, oh, I just built this new PC, but my graphics look horrible. And then I came over and I just pushed his graphics card.
What's the integrated graphics on this?
He was using integrated graphics. So I was like, hey, you put in the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh. And then I realized that he actually didn't push his GPU in hard enough, so it actually wasn't even installed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we got the processor, RAM, we've installed our 8100. We have this vertical stand for the graphics card, so the graphics card will end up getting installed here. And then one thing I do want to call out, we still have, I know these cables are a little bit in the way, but we still have access to where we could put another M.2. Especially if we want more storage, right? So we got 2 terabytes, but if we wanted to add another 2, 1, 4, 8, whatever. So we can get to this one pretty easily. And then we could still get to this other one. It'll be a little bit difficult, but at the same time, you still have options here. And then quick test. It didn't fall.
Nice.
So that's good. A good thing about this case, to make it pretty clear, that power, right? So the back of our power supply will be facing this way, and meaning right before we start screwing this in, it'll look something like this, right? So this is where you would plug in your actual cable. So I think one thing I want to show as we're getting ready to install this, so this is what we would call a modular power supply, meaning that you manually plug in all the cables. So we'll go through what we'll actually need, but you can see here, we got a bunch of white cables. Yeah, it'll tell you it kind of tells you what's motherboard, what's PCIe, and different things like that. So you at least know what cables go into where in the power supply. It is this way. I guess that makes sense. You kind of want your fan facing out.
Do you want me to hold it up there as you screw it in?
There we go.
Oh, nice. It just lets in there.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe turn this back around. Triple the seam. So there was like a little ledge here, so you're able to kind of just slide the power supply in. You can see the fan faces out. And then yeah, we're just gonna screw, make sure the holes line up with the case itself.
Is this easier if you lay it down?
Normally, but we have to get access to the back of it also.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, yeah. The rest of these are PCIe.
Yeah, and then there's also, I think that's for the power supply itself though, right there, that connector, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I have to bring the cables up top there, and then also a cable down here.
Mm-hmm.
Cable routing is an art.
Yeah.
Yeah, my PC still
Seriously.
isn't cable managed, and I built it 5 years ago.
You gotta like do it while you're building. It's like you're just never gonna
Yeah, I never.
It's like, wow,
Okay.
I'm gonna open this up right now.
No.
It works.
I'll probably do the same thing, Haley. If I can feed this to you.
You want me to plug them in?
Yeah, so we want to get these guys up here.
God.
Or does the fan?
The fan will connect into that.
Okay.
It's just more of like, we're better off doing this now.
There we go.
Okay. We have best practices. Have this installed because now we got to put.
Yeah, there wouldn't be room to put in the cables after.
Exactly. So we should be able to just pop this off. That's my understanding.
Cool. Oh, and then does the cooler just like lay? Oh, that's actually really nice.
Didn't break it.
That's really nice.
Good start.
Because normally you like go inside the case and like mount it.
Yeah, but now that I'm looking at this groove,
That's really
it's like,
nice.
okay, well, this actually make
Ooh.
our lives,
Good
I
case.
think, a lot easier. Oh, this is probably for RGB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so those would go into these pins right here. Because there's the CPU fan, and then the pump, and then the system fan.
Yeah. We can take. Yeah. So we can take this off the like cover
Oh, nice. Okay.
to at least help with the installation.
To make it a little bit easier to install.
And it already has thermal paste,
Uh-huh.
but if we wanted to put more, we can. Yeah. It's... Yeah, because I just remember it kept saying like, you want, like you want the cables to be at the bottom. So after looking at the instructions for this case is pretty cool where it has kind of a mount already for part of the cooler, but in order for us to use it correctly, we're gonna have to take the fans off. So that is what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm trying to hit that screw off. Will be very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's off. Now we know that this needs to go this way. Oh, never mind. We don't need this. We use the screws for the fan.
Oh, okay.
We screw the fans back into here.
Oh, we screw the fans like on top.
Yes.
That makes sense. So here are the fans.
Because I was about to say, I'm like, wait, how am I going to get the fans back there? It makes more sense how this like case is compact
Yeah.
because they
Have a lot of slots.
right, yeah. Because otherwise, I was like, how are you going to get all this in?
Oh, and now it makes sense how you install
Right.
a cooler.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if like these need to like if this needs to move over a little bit more because they are kind of on sliders. Yeah. Okay. So in this case, we need to make sure that for this specific case, the bracket is like in line with the edge of the CPU cooler. So that's where we were getting a little bit stuck. So then this sticks out a little bit more and then yeah, I wonder how long. You're right. Like people who do this every day,
Yeah.
how quickly they can do it. Yeah.
Probably an hour, I'd say, or less.
Surely it lines up as expected.
All right. We have the CPU cooler in this bracket. Again, this is this case specific, but now everything's lined up so we can at least get this screwed in. So we have the CPU cooler installed into the case now. So the next thing we need to do is actually get the cooler on the CPU. And before we can do that, we actually need to take this back down. And so the first thing we need to do is actually take these mounts off for the CPU cooler so that we can put the ones that we got with this liquid cooler. All right. So because we're using AMD, we're going to use the AMD brackets that the manual will tell you. But the one thing I just want to kind of call out is you can see that there's, it says CPU and it has a little arrow. So that means that you want the arrow pointing towards this CPU. So in this case, right, for this bottom bracket, we want it there. And then for this one, we want it like this. So we want to make sure the arrow is pointing towards the CPU. So this is all good and tight. Now, I'll probably ask you to help me here.
Yeah.
Get this bad boy. So we want cables down. And then, do you want to put more thermal paste on it?
No, I think we're fine with the amount of thermal paste
Yeah.
on there.
But just to let you guys know, they do give you extra thermal paste. So that's what this is. It already comes with thermal paste on there, but if you wanted, you can put extra on your CPU. Take this cover off. Okay, so that is on. And now we just need to screw it on. So because this is an AM5, the cooler has two different screws that you're supposed to use. So just make sure that you're picking the correct one. Okay, that feels good. And I feel like now we're at a point where we need to start plugging in cables. Yeah, so now that we have CPU, the cooler, the RAM, our SSD. Yeah, we have the cool cover for the cooler, but before we get to that, let's get everything connected that needs to get connected into the actual motherboard. So another good thing is all the instructions will tell you where things will go. So the CPU cooler will go into what is called CPU fan on the motherboard. Just making sure that's all. Yep, that's connected. All right, cool. So we're good there.
One thing I would want to note on this is the pins on the motherboard are a little bit fragile for this one. So if you want to make sure that the holes are lined up when you're putting stuff in.
Definitely. So other things that we're going to try to plug in. So this is to get different parts of the case to work. So this is for USB 3.0. So this would be for like your USB ports. They had a nice little click. I forget exactly what this one is called, but I know exactly where it goes. Which is right here. Cool. So one nice thing here is usually a lot of the parts on the motherboard are labeled. So you just need to find where it is, or you look at your, whatchamacallit, manual.
Because you need this part to be on the bottom here, I'm pretty sure, for these tubes. Yep. There
we go.
There you go.
Yeah, because I was like, man, this cable's really long. Yeah. Why? Now I know why. Oh, I just realized on the motherboard, in the pins, it says USB.
Oh.
So. Okay. So this thing that we connected here. Okay. So one of these goes to the RGB.
Mm-hmm.
It's this bad boy. So it goes RGB. And then this will go to the fan, which is right next to it. Boom, boom. Motherboard sync. So this will sync to the motherboard. RGB. So one of them is to a USB. So that's this one. So those are on the bottom, so we can feed this through.
Okay.
We can definitely feed this through down here.
Should we feed all these through the bottom?
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay, all the cables finally
Except for
installed.
one.
Yes, and then now is where we can.
We actually also put more cables for the fans, but
Yes.
that's fine. Main cables are installed.
Main cables are installed. Okay, so now that we have,
There it is.
yeah. All right, so I'll let you put it in, but
Oh, I don't. You can install the graphics card.
But
I have never vertically mounted a graphics card.
first thing we need to do is
I just wanted to show it off.
First
30 Founders Edition.
unscrew. Warning: remove before use. It's a joke, but I'm sure people.
Try
Let's do it.
their graphics card.
It's there. It's the plastic. It's insulation. Okay. So we got. Okay, you already took it off.
Yeah.
Cool. So, like we said before, this allows us to now install the CPU or the GPU. Jeez, I keep saying that today. Install the GPU vertically.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. Oh, let me make sure this is. Yep, that's down.
What we should do is have someone paint the shroud of that GPU into like SanDisk.
Cool. I don't know if you guys heard a click,
Ooh,
but I heard that click.
did, yeah.
So I know that that's in now.
that looks sick.
And then, so there is with the power supply, you'll kind of see these are like the special cables that you need. It came with the power supply, but for these newer graphics cards, you can see like it says 600 watt. So that's how you know you're kind of you're giving it the right amount of power that it needs. And then let's screw it back. Let's screw it in.
So how many watts is this power supply?
1,000 watts.
1,000 watt.
I
Yeah.
remember when I was building computers, 600 watts was a good entire
yeah.
power supply.
Yeah.
That was your entire power supply.
Yeah, 600 is, you're definitely right. That was kind of what you need.
I feel
Or like you
everything's
could get
just
away with
taking
that.
more and more power nowadays, though, because you were like most Gen 5 SSDs. You said, Jimmy, they have an external. You have to plug in a cable to them, right?
Yeah, at this point it's kind of like, luckily with SN8100, like it is one of the most power efficient Gen 5 drives. And I think that like you can see a lot of how the reviews have gone and what kind of testing we've done that basically under 7 watts of power when you're kind of at that max performance.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of good power efficiency, which is good. But at the same time, right, like a 50 series graphics card is also PCIe Gen 5.
Yeah.
So like these newer components do require more power. So you're absolutely right. We're like, you know, probably my old Gen 4 build, I think I have a 850 watt power supply, and that was like more than enough.
That's what I have, yeah.
But with this, like, yeah, you need 1,000. I don't think you need like 1,200. That feels like a lot. Maybe if you had two GPUs in here, but yeah, 1,000 is kind of like the way you need to go, I feel like nowadays. Okay, everything is plugged in. I don't want to close it up yet,
Yeah.
but let's at least.
Supposedly, it should turn on once we plug it in.
That's experience talking about.
Supposedly.
Don't screw it back closed yet.
Yes, exactly. Last thing you want is like, oh, everything's all buttoned up, and why is it not working?
This isn't a US button, buddy.
Stop.
Oh, no way.
Stop it.
All right, we need to find.
Show me that.
That's so funny.
What's going on here?
Well, I guess our power supply gave us the wrong power cord, so we just need to steal one from something else.
I mean, we can
That's
steal from
hilarious.
that
I didn't
PC.
even notice that. Where's the power? Okay, power button's on. Yeah, I don't even know what. I don't even think this is Europe. Okay, let's see if we get this bad boy to turn on.
And it turned on.
I'm seeing RGB.
Yep, and you're seeing, and all the indicator lights on the motherboard turned off.
Ooh,
So
and look at that.
it did properly post.
And look at that CPU cooler.
Now the fun part of cable management.
Exactly. All right, so we got this thing turned on.
Yeah.
Right, so the next step to really do here is, as far as the rest of this video is concerned, so we'll put the panels back on so you can kind of see what it'll look like closed up. So after we have the operating system and everything installed, then we'll go into like different performance benchmarks to show you, okay, how much power does this PC have? How fast can we get the SN8100 to go? And like what might that look like with different, like I said, either benchmarks or maybe we'll open up some games, stuff like that. So you guys have a sense of like, all right, when I'm trying to build a new beast of a computer, what can I expect?